Chapter 2044, that's it? Zhang Yi walked out of the passageway, stood in the center of the arena, and waited for Owen. Owen had actually arrived at the passageway long ago, but he deliberately waited for Zhang Yi to appear first before slowly walking out himself. The person who appears later always gives people the impression of being the finale, which is more impressive. As soon as Owen appeared, the crowd erupted into a thunderous cheer. "General Owen! General Owen! You are our hero! Go for it! Defeat him and show him how strong we are! What brave warrior! You are our true warrior!" Many elegantly dressed noble girls and young women waved handkerchiefs excitedly and shouted loudly, trying to attract General Owen's attention. Silk scarves and handkerchiefs flew through the air like butterflies toward Owen. Owen spread his arms wide and enjoyed the adoration of the people. Thank you everyone. I love you all." Owen was all smiles, but Zhang Yi stood by his side, cold and lonely, ignored by everyone. After all, he was just a stranger in Mag City, and no one knew him. Even with the status of a brave man, it was difficult for people to quickly develop feelings of admiration and respect for him. Only a few powerful magicians and swordsmen stared at Zhang Yi with solemn expressions. The legendary brave man hasn't appeared in more than 300 years, how strong is he? Hey, who knows? But I heard that the hero's biggest interest is to act like turtle men, playing out some kind of Asature storyline every day, while waiting for girls to push them down. They're really hypocritical, acting like they're something they're not. Let's see how strong he is first. After all, our battle against the Demon King's army has been going badly, and we need powerful external forces to help us break the deadlock. In the arena, Owen enjoyed the cheers of the crowd. Then he turned to Zhang Yi, his tone and expression once again becoming arrogant. "Brave warrior, my sword is very dangerous. Are you ready?" Zhang Yi was already getting impatient. "Yeah, hurry up. I'm in a hurry." Clang! General Owen drew the sharp long sword from his waist. It was truly a magnificent sword. The wide blade flashed with a cold light, and the sword body was engraved with a black dragon, fierce and terrifying, full of a murderous intent. "It's here! The Owen family's ancestral holy sword, slayer of dragons. It is said that it was the sword that killed the giant dragon, and it even has the dragon's teeth and bones on it. Ah! General Owen is taking this battle very seriously, using his ancestral holy sword right from the start. The guy on the other side is in big trouble." Owen raised the sword in his hand and said to Zhang Yi, "Brave warrior, to show my respect for you, I will only strike 3 times. If you can block my 3 strikes, I will acknowledge your strength." Although Zhang Yi repeatedly promised not to fight back, Owen had to emphasize it again. He didn't want Zhang Yi to get angry and fight back. Owen didn't think his strength was a match for Zhang Yi. All right, you can start," Zhang Yi said. Owen held the sacred sword with both hands and aimed it at Zhang Yi. His expression became extremely solemn, and a golden power began to surge from every pore of his body. The golden waves rose skyward, like burning flames, forming a huge golden dragon above Owen. "Supernatural ability manifestation," Zhang Yi said indifferently. This move was not unusual. The intelligence system also gave a voice broadcast in real time, energy reaction ahead, ability index 12,000 points, white chariot level. The golden dragon manifested by Owen caused the crowd to erupt once again. Fierce Dragon Fighting Spirit. This is the legendary Fierce Dragon Fighting Spirit, General Owen's ultimate technique. He once defeated Cavendish, one of the 4 heavenly kings of the Demon King's army with this move. The legendary move has appeared. It's truly terrifying. Owen was very satisfied with the commotion around him. He had already made up his mind. He would use his most powerful strength for these 3 swords. "You actually said that you would passively accept my attack and not fight back. Brave one, you underestimate me, Owen, the Sword Saint. As long as I can defeat you in front of everyone, my name will be known throughout the continent. Even if you defeat the Demon King, it won't change the fact that you lost to me. With this thought in his heart, Owen shouted loudly, "Brave warrior, take this!" He roared, raised the holy sword high in both hands, and in the next moment, he crouched low and rushed straight towards Zhang Yi in a manner that was almost close to the ground. Like a flash of light, Owen was indeed powerful, and his strength was not weak. The sword skills he had practiced since childhood were probably not much different from Zhang Yi's. The sword followed him, and the golden dragon roared as it rushed straight towards Zhang Yi. Zhang Yi stood where he was, neither dodging nor avoiding, calmly surprising everyone. Boom! The sword slashed at Zhang Yi's body without any fancy moves. Seeing that Zhang Yi had no intention of dodging, the crowd let out a cry of surprise. Is this guy trying to die? That was the sword saint's full power. It's over, the brave man is going to die here. He will pay for his arrogance and ignorance. Many people covered their eyes, not daring to watch what was about to happen. However, after the sword was swung down, the brave warrior's body was not cut in two. General Owen's holy sword slashed Zhang Yi's arm and stopped there, not moving forward even a millimeter. Zhang Yi did not resist or dodge, nor did he use any of his abilities. He just stood there, allowing Owen's sword to strike the demon god's armor. The sword was blocked by the armor, and the look of victory on Owen's face vanished in an instant. He stared blankly at the scene in front of him, even thinking that there was something wrong with his eyes. Even the Demon King would have been injured by such a blow without any preparation. How is this possible? Owen couldn't help but say it out loud. The entire arena suddenly became silent. The original din of voices was now as quiet as a library. Everyone looked like ducks with their necks squeezed, quacking loudly 1 second and then suddenly falling silent the next. Expressions of shock, disbelief, and doubt that they were dreaming appeared on their faces. Some slapped themselves hard, hoping to wake up from a dream, for how could such an absurd scene be real? But no matter how hard they slapped their faces, the scene before them remained unchanged. Chapter 2045, We're in a hurry, let's go together. The grand mages in the arena were also stunned. There's something wrong with that armor. Could it be the legendary artifact? A red-bearded old man shouted. He was a famous fire mage. An artifact, that's right. It must be a weapon given to the brave by the gods, which is why it has such terrifying defensive power. While Owen was stunned, Zhang Yi had already calculated the lethality of this strike. Unfortunately, it couldn't even break through the demon god's armor. Sorry, that was a bit of an exaggeration. In fact, it couldn't even break through the top layer of lacquer, let alone leave a scratch. Zhang Yi glanced down at his arm. Try again. Don't hold back, use your strongest sword technique on me. Owen came to his senses and his face turned from green to white, then red. Ow! He let out a ghostly cry, took a few steps back, and shouted at the top of his lungs, perhaps because he was so panicked inside. Ha, you are indeed brave. That sword just now was only to test you. Now I'm going to get serious. Hearing this, the people around him covered their chests and exhaled deeply. I knew it, General Owen is kind and didn't really attack. Yeah, General Owen's sword couldn't even cut through the opponent's armor. When General Owen gets serious, he won't have it so easy. Owen was breaking out in a sweat. God only knew how hard he had tried with that first sword. But now, he had no way out. He could only summon every ounce of strength in his body and roar as he charged toward Zhang Yi. Maybe it's just that his shoulder armor is stronger. I'll aim for the gaps in his armor, his neck, cut his neck. Golden fighting energy shot up into the sky, turning into a terrifying storm. Owen leaped high into the air and slashed Zhang Yi's neck with his sword. Zhang Yi remained motionless, allowing him to slash down. Boom! The sword fell on his neck, but the result was no different. The joints were just as tough, and Zhang Yi was prepared. The sword rested on Zhang Yi's neck, and he didn't like this position, so he flicked his finger. He didn't use much force, as if he were swatting a fly, but the power of the demon god's armor was so great that it sent General Owen flying hundreds of meters away, crashing heavily into the wall surrounding the martial arts arena. Boom! After a burst of dust, the people were shocked to discover that General Owen, the great hero in their eyes, was deeply embedded in the wall in human form. General Owen. Many people covered their mouths, feeling as if the sky had collapsed. General Owen struggled to crawl out from inside the wall. You are indeed a brave man. I've given you 2 chances, and you've done pretty well. For the final blow, I'm going to use my true abilities. You'd better be careful. This time, many people could see that something was wrong. Because Owen didn't look like he was having an easy time of it. Owen raised his holy sword and roared as he charged toward Zhang Yi. At that moment, he burned himself out, his face contorted. Zhang Yi looked at his opponent helplessly. He already knew the level of combat power in this world. A white chariot-level mutant could become the pinnacle of human combat power and be known as the Sword Saint. He stood there letting the Sword Saint slash at him, and his armor didn't even get a scratch. He knew very well that the second hand of time could predict everything. With the third sword, Owen was already a little crazy. He couldn't believe that even with all his strength, he couldn't even hurt a brave man who was standing still and letting him slash at him. He felt that his worldview had collapsed, and naturally, he couldn't calm down. With the third sword, he slashed directly at Zhang Yi's head. Zhang Yi's helmet resembled a rabid dog with a ferocious face. At this moment, Owen felt that Zhang Yi was an evil ghost who had come to embarrass him. Therefore, this strike was filled with all kinds of chaotic and frenzied emotions. Bang! This time, his attack finally had an effect. The sword slashed Zhang Yi's helmet, and a clear breaking sound rang out. His ancestral holy sword, Dragon Slayer, snapped in half with a crack. The entire scene was silent. Owen's arms and calves were trembling. Zhang Yi didn't need to attack him, but the force of the counterattack made his body go limp. At this moment, looking at his broken weapon, his heart collapsed, and he rolled his eyes and fainted on the spot. Strange, I didn't even touch him, what's going on? Zhang Yi was a little speechless. Perhaps you hurt his feelings. Zhou Qir's voice came with a smile. A group of soldiers rushed over and carried General Owen's body outside. As he was leaving, Zhang Yi seemed to notice Owen's eyelids twitch. What a clever guy. If he hadn't fainted, this situation would have been difficult to handle. The audience's gaze toward Zhang Yi had clearly changed. They didn't have a very good impression of him before because they didn't understand his strength. Now, they had all been won over by Zhang Yi's strength. This is a real man. The beautiful young women and noble girls sent Zhang Yi flirtatious glances, and some of the bolder girls even secretly took off their undergarments and threw them at Zhang Yi. The hero has arrived, Helen is saved. The hero has arrived, the war is over. The common people didn't care about that. They were just happy, thinking that their savior had arrived. Zhang Yi, however, felt a little bored. He looked at the powerful people of Mag City on the stands. I heard that General Owen and the 5 Grand Mages fought off the Demon King's invasion together. Now I want to see how strong you Grand Mages really are. He waved at the stands. Everyone's time is limited, so don't bother coming one by one. Come on, all of you. Oh, right, if there are others who think they are very strong, they can come too. There was an uproar in the stands. Even though they had seen Zhang Yi's strength, the veteran magicians and swordsmen couldn't sit still after being provoked like that. One person against all of Mag City's best fighters? He's truly brave. With a challenge like that, even if I know I'm no match for him, I have to accept. Some young and impetuous soldiers and magicians immediately climbed over the wall and jumped into the arena. They had misunderstood one thing: Zhang Yi had no intention of provoking them.